All right, we have Andre Ewell back on the show, and a little over a month ago, he took on Jonathan Martinez in Houston, Texas at UFC 247. It was a fun fight, like we all expected. It went to the judges' scorecards, and in the end, Andre Ewell picked up a split decision win. But as you know by now, this fight was mired in some controversy, as was others on that card. So I wanted to give Andre a chance to come back on the show and talk all about it from his perspective. Andre, thank you for doing this. Glad we can make this happen, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. Things are exciting. I'm still moving on, and can't wait to get back in there. But definitely have my own side of the story of everything,
Yes, and truth be told, I was told that you didn't really want to do any interviews following the fight. I had reached out to your team, and they said that you wanted to hold off. You obviously have a lot going on right now. You're about to become a dad for the second time. You broke your forearm in the first minute of that fight, I believe. So you're dealing with that. And then I got a text from your team yesterday that you were ready to talk. So I guess my question is, why now?
Well, right now it's because I ended up going to the dang fight last weekend, and it was exciting. And I was in there with the fans. I didn't sit with my co-workers and everything. I actually sat with the fans, and everybody was in there talking and chopping it up with me, saying how they saw the fight and how I won and everything. And I ended up understanding that at the end of the day, I do everything for the people. When I'm in the cage, I do it for the people. So even when I broke my arm, I could easily played the extra route and left, and quit. But I'm not a quitter. I'm a warrior type thing. And I kept it exciting. And that's something that I am here to do. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be loved. And at the end of the day, when people end up loving me, it becomes automatically exciting because they will understand the passion that I'm putting on the table, So,
as I said earlier, and everybody knows this by now, the fight was very close. It was a bit controversial in the end because a lot of people had scored the fight for Jonathan, and according to MMA Decisions, all but one media member had scored it for Jonathan. And we'll get into your thoughts on the fight a little bit more in a moment, but between that and social media and Joe Rogan saying what he's been saying about the fight, has it sort of soured the win for you? Did it take anything away from it?
It didn't take anything because at the end of the day, I end up telling everybody, rewatch the fight, and then watch the fight on mute. You'll clearly know that I won because at the end of the day, how Joe ends up judging a lot of scores, he says the last minute counts. If that's the case, then why are everybody fighting for 5 minutes? We should might as well just fight for one because that second round I won the first round. Don't matter how you end up flipping that coin. I made him start wrestling. I ended up dropping him, and I ended up putting hands on him and kept it exciting. And this is with one arm. Just note that. Second round, it ends up automatically engaging that I'm winning 4 minutes and some change of that damn round. And then don't get me wrong, the last 40 seconds of that the second round, I ended up getting hurt, but I'm still responding. And at the same time, as I was responding, I was still countering. You got to end up looking at things like that. Yeah, he was winning that exchange, but if you go into the beginning of that 4 minutes, I also not only hurt him, I could have ended up finishing him, but I only had one arm. Even Joe stated that he was hurt after I got that knee in him when he tried to go for this third attempt of a takedown. Note this. For a person that likes to exchange and was open to brawl and automatically states this, he was up in there going for shots. Why? Because I'm hurting him. I'm over here putting work on him. I'm doing my thing. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. Third round, people granted that I ended up winning that. All three of the judges ended up seeing the same way that how I was ended up moving. He missed a lot more than he was swinging, and on top of that, he was chasing. There's a difference of cage control and chasing. He was chasing, or actually not chasing. The keyword following. There's a difference. Prime example, Triple G. He's a person that ends up using the ring control by cutting off. My man, my opponent Martinez, he wasn't cutting off the ring. He was following me, and I was the one that was engaging after he got done following with my counter. And at the end of the day, I only had one arm. So this is what happened in the third round. It started to kick in. Corner ended up putting ice on my forearm. So as soon as he did it, my adrenaline dropped. So I was kind of downhill. While the second round, I was kind of playing with it and everything. But again, stuff happens, But that's the problem about being a split decision, because when it comes to a split decision, people have different opinions. And at the end of the day, only three opinions matter, and that is the three judges. And the second judge, or the one that everybody was mad at, Solis, and how he ended up giving me all three. In my eyes, I feel that he was right. A lot of other people that my fans felt that he was right. But then again, some people scored it 2-1. and they didn't give me the third round type thing. If you end up flipping the coin, as in, if we're going to end up talking about judges, let's talk about the judge that gave Martinez the win. Like, 2-1. And he gave him 2-1 by letting him win the first round. He didn't win the first round. It don't matter how you end up flipping that. And that goes to Joe. I'm even telling Joe, like, hey, basically, I feel like Joe lost money. That's it. I'm just going to go ahead and sit there and say that. I feel like he bet it. He lost money, but it is what it is. Still all love. I end up taking on back to the criticism. And, it was one of those moments I wish I would have had my interviews, especially with Joe. And we could have easily explained it or end up speaking on it, or to the moment of us getting robbed for fight of the night, because basically I feel like we won fight of the night, and a lot of other people felt the same way. But again, everybody would end up understanding. Literally, the first kick that he threw, he broke my forearm. That's what ended up happening. So it's basically 14 minutes and some change of me fighting with one arm.
I'm sure, like, once that night ended, you're hearing the criticism, you're hearing how people are scoring the fight, and you're probably like, what am I missing here? So you go back and you watch it. You probably watch it a bunch of times at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Going back and watching it, like, how did you score the fight? Like, whether on fight night, watching it back, like, how would you compare being in the cage and then watching it back? Did it change anything for you?
No, felt the same way. Like, I felt like the way I just broke it down, that I won every round in my eyes. Like, I ended up seeing where the part, as in, where I ended up getting hurt and how I ended up responding to it and how I honestly reacted to it. But I also seen that when I heard him and how he responded and how he acted to it. I have two hands, I knock him out. Period. Only had one. So I basically dealt with the card that was automatically dealt with, So at the end of the day, it ends up happening that way. And again, it's the key thing. Don't leave it up to the judges. Don't matter how you flip the coin. Because at the end of the day, it's three people that ends up looking at it that automatically matters. But again, it's a split decision, and I feel like there's open windows where he felt like he won, and at the end of the day, it's where I feel like I won. So everybody that ends up watching it and that knows styles and know how to fight or how the fight game goes, they know that I won. They stated that I won. Even his team, ended up, like, if you end up looking at the end of the fight, as soon as the bell rings, he's walking off sad, head down. His coach had to end up pumping him up to say, hey, put your hand up. Hey, I'm about to lift you up. Where me, I'm dancing. I'm walking away, smiling. Like, you got to end up looking at small things like that. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, how I end up feeling, and, like my brother always says, or Diaz ended up saying, Nate Diaz, like, if you feel like you lost or you feel like you won, you end up wanting the rematch. If you lost, I'm giving you the chance to get it back. If I'm easy work, let's run it back again, and then we'll end up seeing with both hands what end up happening. At the end of the day, that's where it automatically matters. Because I'm here to please the crowd, period. I end up loving the crowd. And there was nothing but respect to my opponent. But at the same time, instead of talking shit, let's just run it. Run it back. That's how I'm raised. That's where I'm from. People end up having their own opinions, but let's run it back again, and we can end up selling it. But don't make it where you want a rematch when I end up having the title or I have a belt on my hand or I end up getting ranked number 1 and now, let me have a rematch with you. Nah, that shit that's settled. So right now it's, if you want one, call me right now. My manager's waiting. I'm ready to go back in September. And that's good. That ends up going for all opponents that's in this weight class, So I'm gonna end up ready back in September.
Do you want that rematch to get that closure for yourself, or do you not need that?
I don't need it, but since he's talking, and then Joe, because like right now it's like that rematch is for Joe. So I ended up destroying him. I'll end up looking at Joe just to let him know. So this is your king. This is the one that you put your money on and you ended up betting, and it ends up coming down to the factors in what I end up able to do. But at the end of the day, exactly, I don't need the rematch. Because to be honest, whoever I'm in the cage with, I'm gonna keep it exciting. I'm automatically gonna end up doing that because I felt like I won. I know that I won. It's nothing as in a flip coin, as in, like I stated. If anybody that feels otherwise, rewatch it again on mute without Joe being so biased. You gotta end up remembering Joe's voice is like baby Jesus when it comes to the microphone. So if you end up taking him out of the category, you'll see the different story. Because remember, in the beginning of the first round and 4 minutes of the second round, Joe was on my bumper. As in, oh yeah, Joe, Andre did this, oh, Andre did that, Andre hurt him, et cetera, et cetera. And then when dude wins the last 30 seconds, oh, it's a different story. But now, no, you end up going into the other fight that people felt like, oh boy, got robbed. I think it was Gills or
Trevin Giles.
Yeah. So that fight, that same judge ended up. Now, I can end up coming with so many damn examples, and that's literally one of them, where boy ends up giving Giles the first round, right? And that one, everybody stated that he lost. And don't get me wrong, I felt like he lost that round too, but only why? Because boy was controlling 4 minutes of that round, of the first round, and boy gave Giles that round for automatically 1 minute of work. Or we'll actually say about 52 seconds of work.
Probably, yeah.
And that 52 seconds, he hurt boy. People getting mad at that. Why would you give it to Gales? But if you end up flipping it over onto that second round of mine, I end up working Martinez for 4 minutes and some change. Rewatch it. I work it. I hurt him the whole 9. Even to the moment that it could have easily been stopped if I would have had both hands. I'm just saying. Now, he ends up giving me that round, and not the person that ended up only winning 40 seconds of that round. Flip the coin. Like, you guys get mad at him for doing, what you guys are arguing about what he did, and then when he does it the way that you guys want, people are arguing about it. I'm fucking confused. Now, my apologies for cursing.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of comes to the moment. It's confusing. Like, Solis ends up judging me for winning 4 minutes, and boy wins, or 4 minutes and change, and boy wins like 40 something seconds of it. And then you got to the other guy where the man only wins 40 something seconds of it and loses 4 minutes, but he gives it to the guy that won 40 seconds of it. But you guys are mad at him. Like, I'm confused. I'm just simply saying I'm confused. So it ends up opening up that door to the crowd and everybody, like, know your homework. I end up understanding you guys are like, a lot of people are biased because, he's a fan. Like, it's in Texas and everybody loves him. It was his hometown or second home, and this is his fight and this is his place, But at the end of the day, I won. They saw it the way that it was supposed to be automatically saw it. That's just how it is. And like I stated, if he feels any type of way or any different, call my line because I'm open to fight everybody.
I will say this because I'm not a phony baloney, Andre. I did, on fight night, score the fight for Jonathan. That's what I saw. I'm not a judge. Now, do I think Jonathan was robbed? No, I wouldn't go that far. I think robbery is a term that's thrown out way too loosely in this sport. But the one thing, and you've already mentioned it, that I think was the biggest piece of contention for a lot of people, and I said this to Jonathan when I spoke with him after the fight, it was the 30-27 scorecard for you. I just didn't see it that way. But again, I'm not a judge. That's just how I saw the fight. Anyways, as you probably have seen, he's done a lot of interviews. Jonathan was just crushed by that decision. He was heartbroken. So with that being said, I guess to sort of leave this behind you, your message to him would be, if you want to run it back, let's do it. If not, we're moving on. That's it.
Basically, just like that. And I respect your opinion. Like I said, at the end of the day, and everybody has millions of opinions on a lot of situations because, like, you're not the first one. Like my last interview, they felt that I ended up winning. Few of them had it 3-0 for me. The other ones had it 2-1 me, and then you had some other ones that also felt the same way. But at the end of the day, it's automatically love, But I prefer the people that end up being automatically frank and upfront about everything because it's more respect, And like I stated, it's open. He wants it, speak on it now. And that's it, tell him to call a house, instead of everybody being fake and trying to give me like a fake smile, tell them, hey, I'm automatically open. They know who my manager is. It's Matt Dodge Sports. Hit him up. He's willing. He's open. Like I said, I'm here to make everything exciting. And at the end of the day, it's judges who, opinions that count. And even if it comes down to it, don't leave it up to the judges.
How's the arm now?
Oh, it's definitely great. I got to end up getting a little small plate in it, and it's healing. And I ended up also moving off of a surgery for my knee as well, which I had a problem. I had a bucket tear for like a year, so literally fighting for a whole year with the bucket tear. So I finally got it fixed. So everything's kind of like moping up on coming back and being the normal me. So now I can end up going back to my like wrestling and exciting with kicks and everything. So
Is there a timetable for, recovery? Any sort of mark on the calendar you got circled at this point?
For my arm, it's May 18th, but I feel like I'm going to be in way before that. For my knee, it is literally about 2 more weeks. I got 2 more weeks, but it's like nothing but conditioning and strengthening for right now. But it's like I said, everything ends up floating into the direction, you know. But again, as I end up saying for everybody, rewatch the fight and then watch it on mute. Because like I stated, you have someone that's speaking on the mic named Baby Jesus. You know, you're going to kind of like float with whatever he says. You take that off, it's a completely different fight and a different story, you know. But that's it is what it is for that part. But how's everything on your side, man?
What are your thoughts on open scoring? Like I'm not sure if you watched the Invicta event on Friday, but they introduced it. There's very little drama with it. Some coaches decided to use it and tell their fighters what the score was. Others just left it alone and did things per usual. What do you think of that idea?
Truth be told, and just letting me like sitting there stating this, that it is cool, but I have to remember that if someone's winning the first 2 rounds and they decide to play it safe on the third one because they know they won by the score, you're going to see a lot of people running. And me, in my eyes, I'm basically trying to end up killing everybody every round, so it doesn't really matter to me. And I know if I end up winning or losing. I have a cornerman that tell me, hey, you need this round. So in reality, it doesn't really matter to me. If you have an open scoring or not open scoring, you should have the same mentality to win. I'm a warrior, so I have a mentality to win every round. I treat every round like my first round. Win.
You obviously have a lot going on right now. You're healing up. You're about to welcome another child on the way. But it seems like you got that itch right now that you're ready to scratch. You're ready to put pen to paper and do it again. And I know when we last spoke, and you've done tons of interviews about this, I know Marlon Vera was on the top of your list. Now we got Jonathan Martinez if he wants the fight. Marlon's getting ready to fight Eddie Wyland. I mean, there's a lot of names at 135 right now. One of which, you were there, Sean O'Malley returns after 2 years. He finishes Jose Quinones on Saturday. It was a pretty flawless performance from him. What did you think of it, and is that a fight you might be interested in?
Oh, definitely. The fight was exciting. It was like really good, you know. I was there in the crowd, like I stated, that O'Malley, he's one of those people, he keeps things exciting. And I already know me and him going at it is going to be exciting because I love everything that I love doing, and I keep it exciting. So that's already an open door for that one. But anybody and everybody else that's in the weight class, like, you know, that like I have a goal in which that goal is going to end up being like outbranched in the world eventually. But it comes down to when I come back and I make my comeback, wherever it is. And then after that, I'm aiming for a ranked person, or hopefully they give me a ranked person in September. But if they don't, like I stated, I'm opened up the door to win my next one. And then the following fight is a ranked opponent. And obviously I want it to be Marlon, but I already know that he's on a different route right now. So until I am the vision of it, you know, I'm this frontline vision, it's everybody and anybody else. Because, you know, we got ranked from basically 8 or 7 on up, you know, and I would love to go down lower, but hey, it's all about building the name and building the crowd, you know. So me, I'm here to, like I said, keep it exciting. That's me, Mr. Entertainment, a.k.a. Showtime. That's what I like to do, and leave out with a highlight. You know, call me Mr. Afro.
So I noticed one of the things you've done to celebrate the win is you've been inking up quite a bit. I've been seeing on Instagram. You did some cover up on the hand, and then you have this massive tattoo on almost your entire back. That thing is freaking crazy looking. What is the significance behind a tattoo like that? There's got to be a story here, right?
Oh, the story is just about me, honestly, and basically taking in who I am, you know. I ended up actually getting more work done yesterday with 2 samurais with afros and everything, which is like on my Instagram. I literally posted not too long ago that it's me being a warrior entering and leaving everything on the line as a warrior. Basically, I'm willing and openly ready to die for what I do and what I love, you know. And I'm in the sport where I know that I'm great at, you know. And by me knowing that I'm great, I'm here to automatically keep it pushing and letting the world know the same thing. You know, like I stated, I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be loved, you know, and the people I end up loving knows that I end up loving me for the factors in that I love what I do. And 2 samurais, it's like, that's what's embedded in me. I'm a warrior, I'm a straight samurai that's in here with a nice afro. Well, growing my afro. So I got like my little afro wig. That's my, literally afro. That's the power of my alter ego, you know. So yeah.
How many more sessions do you have on the back?
Basically right now I'm on color. I just got to end up coloring, so I got, give or take, 3 more and it'll be complete. And I already know I'm probably going to end up only able to get 2 of them done before I end up coming all the way back. Yeah, but I'm aiming and hopefully getting, that'll be complete because, like I stated, I was in the fight and I saw a few pictures where I'm like, kind of like trying to use my hook and everything, and it was like my whole back was just empty, and I was like, oh man, I got to finish that, So, but yeah, now now it's like damn near like finished and everything. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited for everybody to end up seeing it on TV because I'm trying to be the UFC guy with the best tattoo.
There you go.
I end up losing that one, but hey, if I can end up getting this one, that'd be nice. Yeah.
So what do you think of those 2 title fights on Saturday? It was a contrast of fights, contrast of styles. Zhang Weili versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I mean, that fight was ridiculous. Where would you sort of rank that fight on your all-time favorites list?
For Zhang versus Joanna?
Yeah.
First.
Number 1?
Because, number 1. Because the fact is I'm a big fan of Zhang, She is awesome and a true art to the game. Like, if anything, that's my other samurai if I look at it, on the other side. She keeps it exciting, and she makes sure it's exciting. And that's another thing of a split decision. A lot of people had it for Joanna for that fight. Zhang, she is literally my second favorite woman fighter. I love Carolina. She's like awesome, and especially since she like fought with the whole fracture on the face and everything, and she continued. People do not get that, like, they're putting their life on the line. She is another samurai warrior in my eyes, woman style. And then, but like I said, so going into the men's, that's another one. Another fight, like, you can end up taking and bracing, as in the right person did win, But again, slight that is like some people say it was boring. To me, I think it was like art, like everybody ended up understanding, like, they want to see everybody throwing hands or just brawling out, and that's what they want, so they'll end up booing things like that. But when you get 2 counter fighters, this is what you get. Or that's what you get, And that's just like the same thing. Like I said, you take that fight with my fight, it's art. I am a painter, And at first, you don't know what I'm doing until the finished artwork is done. So, you call me Mr. Picasso. And that's the same thing right there. Israel won. And like, even though people don't like it the way that he won, or it's not the normal way, but he turned it in. They both turned it into a sparring match, and the best person on the sparring match won. So it is what it is. But still, a fan of both of them. Your Mero, big fan. Dude's really, really like awesome in the back. Like the dude's not one of those like that takes superstar status and forgets the people that are on the bottom or trying to get to the same place that he is. He ends up showing nothing but respect, smiles, eye to eye contact, shakes your hand, and give you nothing but love. Where so small things like that. So I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, he's a scary dude.
Good fight.
Scary dude, that Yoel Romero. Listen, controversy aside, you got back in the win column. You did it with a broken freaking forearm for 14 minutes, which is even crazier. A very gutsy performance. Congratulations on the win. At the end of the day, who cares what I or anyone else thinks? Because you won. And you could dry all those tears with those extra dollar bills you got in your bank account, man. Before I let you go, let the folks know where they can find you on the web, social media, where they can find those tattoos of yours, shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
All right, hey, you definitely catch me on day 42, spelled DAII42. That's my Instagram, and nothing but shout out with love from the gym that I'm at, Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and my coaches, my family, my friends, and noted that I have a new baby boy coming soon on April 1st, which is April Fool's, so it's like perfectly splattered out, and and for all the people that felt like I lost, rewatch the fight. All right, and we watch the fight on mute and stop listening to Joe. And straight out to Joe, me and him got to hold a conversation. All right, but besides that, eat your milk and cookies because your boy's coming back. You feel me? Yeah.
That is the best. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate the time, man. Enjoy life with the baby in the house very soon. Get some sleep.
All right, will do. Thank you, brother.